don't know me, I'm JP Marzullo. I'm the Vice Chair of the State Party. Matt Slater is our Executive Director. Matt is new to us this year, thank God. We're going to talk about it. We're going to touch on a couple of things. So first of all, I want to thank you for all your activism. I want to thank you for staying on top of Common Core, Agenda 21, those issues that dig deep into our souls. So I'd like you to continue to do that, but we have other things we need to accomplish. So hopefully what you'll do in your committees, as we've talked about in other committees, is to start a subcommittee to take care of those things, so those of you who are extremely knowledgeable in those can move on and keep that in the public's eye and to go to meetings and to speak to those issues. But we need to win in 2014. So although we have those situations that we need to work with, we need to win. That's my main goal, is to win. The state party only has two functions: to raise money and to put Republicans in office. That's really what we're supposed to do. So I would thank you for all the work you've done there. I have a couple of questions on a hand raise. How many people are fed up with your town administrators? Anybody? How many are fed up with the selectmen? How many are fed up with the school board? Okay. How many of you in here are going to run for office? 1, 2. 2. 3. That's the issue, folks. Maybe we need to keep angry for until 2014, but we need to run for office. We cannot govern if we don't win. That's why I'm saying that's my main function, is we've got to win. So that's really my thrust of what I'm trying to do. The other thing that, and Matt will touch on this too, we're working together to grow the party. So what does that mean? We started, how many new committees now? 6 new committees. That's 1 a month. We didn't really start until February, so we've started 6 committees. We're starting to grow committees like yourselves. It's a problem in the summer, as we all know, very difficult to grow committees. But one thing I would encourage you to do is to look at other things, to bring in people of like mind, but different functions, if you will, or different interests. You need to broaden what you're doing. So what does that mean? You need to be recruiting. You should have a recruiting committee. Get people to just do that, just to go out to recruit and talk to people. Now, having said that, we do that, the House does that, HRA does that, Liberty Alliance does that, but you know what? You're closest to the community. This is your community. So it's just like, Bill is running for a different office. You got to fill that seat. You got to fill that seat. So you need to work on that. So that's what I would encourage you to do. If I can leave you with anything else tonight, your committee is in great shape. You focus on the things that you're passionate about. But we have to be as passionate about recruiting and winning as we are about the issues. So I'll just leave you with that. Matt's going to touch on a couple of things. Why don't you start with, we can start with the training class.
So again, my name is Matt Slater, the Executive Director of our state party. We're doing a lot of different things this year than in the past. Clearly, we're trying to learn from our mistakes and make sure that we're victorious in 2014. One of the things that we did already this year, I'm not sure how many people knew about it, we did a grassroots training session. It was a seminar down in Nashua. It was last month. We had about 100 people show up, 8 a.m. To spend their whole morning with us, talking about how to go door to door, how to recruit volunteers, talking about messaging. What do you say when you get somebody who's a little more combative at the door or on the phone? How do you handle yourself in a way that's productive for the Republican Party in getting our messaging out? And we spent the entire morning. We had Sharon Day, the RNC co-chair, with us. She was fantastic. Talked about the importance of precinct captains, which is something that we're still developing here in New Hampshire, but we're very excited about and anticipate having for the next election. And so I have some packets that we handed out, and I'm happy to have more sent up or bring to you folks if anybody wants them. Some information, some of our PowerPoint slideshows are in there, and we're taking that and moving it forward. We're going to do another one in the fall, and we're going to keep these moving as we get into election season for next year. Like JP said, everything we're doing is with one goal in mind. That's winning 2014. And unless a task doesn't do that, we're not doing it. So, for instance, we've done some great things like our website. Who's been to our website in the last week? Okay. We got a new website. Totally new. Totally huge facelift. does a lot for us in the party, but it's much more user-friendly, which is important. And if you go on our website today, you'll see that there's an opportunity to go hang out with this guy named Mitt Romney. I don't know if you've heard of him or not. But that's going to be August 6th up in Wolfboro. Governor Romney's been gracious enough to host an event for us, which we're very excited about. And you can purchase your tickets online straight from our website.
And then the 16th.
And then also on the 16th, if you go onto our events calendar, we have Alan West, former congressman from Florida. He's coming up to the stakeout, the National Committee stakeout, and there's also a VIP event that the NHGOP is hosting beforehand that you can purchase your tickets for as well.
So the other thing I'd like to tell you about the website, as we travel around committees all across the state, we hear this, and initially when we started doing it was, what's the message, what's the message, what's the message? So rather than handing people a script to read, Matt, through Matt's efforts actually, started putting together talking points so that you can use your own words, your own thoughts in that. So if you go on our website, you'll see talking points. What does that mean? Anything that is current that we need to be talking about? Once you can
right, it's the hot issue of the week. We send these out weekly, and you can find them on our website. They're on our letter to the editor page, which is also very useful if you want to write a letter to the editor. We make it very easy and convenient for you. You just go on our website, you type in the zip code that you live in, and it'll feed you back all the different publications that cover, for instance, New Boston. And you can decide which paper, or whether it's the Patch or what have you, some of the dailies, which papers you want your letter to go to, and you can write it right on our website, submit it right through our website, and it gets sent right to the editor of those papers, which is fantastic. The talking points are actually on the sidebar of the letter to the editor page. So if you wanted to write a letter to the editor about the state budget, there are some fantastic facts about the state budget, the Republican state budget that was passed last month, and you can use those facts right in your letter to the editor. Make it as easy as possible, and they're specific, they're right on message, and that's the important thing for us. Right now, for the Republican Party, our message is about the budget, the Republican budget. We don't want to talk about anything else. I don't really care about anything else this week, other than the fact that the budget, which was a Republican budget, greatly influenced by the gentleman who's going to be speaking in a little bit, was passed by the Republican Senate and the Democrat House. And it proved, once again, that our governor didn't have leadership to get her budget passed, that it was flawed from the get-go. And that's what we need to highlight right now. That's what we want to talk about. That's not what the Democrats want to talk about. That's what we want to talk about. They're going to try to find anything else to talk about. Anything at all. Chairman Buckley did a 100-day autopsy on the presidential elections the day after the budget was passed. So we cannot talk about the budget anymore. Why? It's what we want to talk about. It's good for us. It's good for Republicans. Not just for 2014, but for right now, because it's supporting our current elected officials, and it also helps our candidates. So people understand what are Republicans doing for New Hampshire residents today.
The other thing I'd like to mention with that is, the Obama staff, his team, when they spoke about
it was his energy.
His energy policy, his energy bill that he's trying to push through right now. Tell him what happened the next day.
I was in Londonderry at my aunt's house having dinner, and there was a knock on the door, and sure enough, they were getting a palm card about his speech.
Wow. With bullet points, what to talk about.
With bullet
talking
points about how the New Hampshire environment's changing, and we need to take the steps to fix this, and
within 24 hours.
So on and so on and so forth. I was impressed. I mean, I didn't talk to the guy, obviously, but I had my aunt do my bidding for me.
So the point is with that, that's how we have to be reacting to things. That's what we have to stay focused on. So to Matt's point, we have to stay focused on points that we want to talk about. They don't want to talk about it. I'm sure Speaker O'Brien will get into that a little bit as well. But that's what we have to do. So I'm asking you for your help with that. I tell people this all the time, that the Republican Party isn't on 10 Water Street in Concord. This is the Republican Party. You are the Republican Party. We're not. I mean, we're part of it, But we need as much help as we can, and we need to continue to drive that.
The last point I just wanted to make about the website, you can post your own events on the website. If you have Facebook, you can log in using your Facebook sign up, and you can post whatever events you want for your, whether it's your campaigns or your town committee or your town. You know, there's a lot of picnics going on right now, and it's great to see Republican booths out there where you can have them. So we encourage those as well, and you can put that on our website, let people, other Republicans know, hey, we're going to have a booth at, you know, the New Boston Town Day or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, the perfect example in that was the cruise that Belknap County puts on. They were a little worried that there was so much going on, they couldn't fill the boat. But by putting it on the website, by us shooting out, constantly putting messages out that we need to support this, we packed it. And there were people from all over the state there, as far as Keene, Nashua. So we have to work together. I mean, this is what it's about. If we're serious about winning, we have to work together. It's time to do that. So, anything else you can think of?
All I'd say is, all I'd like to add is that we're constantly evolving, constantly trying to improve our operation, so we want to hear from you. So if there's something that we're not doing, or something that we could be doing better, tell us, please. I don't know it unless you tell me. I'd love to be a mind reader. I'd be making a lot more money, believe me. But, so if there's something out there that you'd like to see us do better, come talk to JP, come talk to me. And we'll do our best to try to make those improvements and see where we can go with it. So,
Questions, comments?
I missed the name of the website.
It's NHGOP.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. It's our website.
Yeah, and we're going to be tying that website into some of the county websites as well. So that it'll all go to one place. Anything that's populated on ours will go to everyone else's. But you'll still have control of their own websites. You know, we're not in a position where we can push it out to every single committee, but there may be, we're working on maybe a small charge to be able to do that, so it's all locked in. The one thing posted on our website, you do your own thing, but you get our information as well, instantly. So we're hoping that helps.
So that's like an RSS feed? Is that what you're
Yeah, similar.
And that's on the way, but it's not quite
It's not there yet, we're not there yet with that. We're working on it.
From those satellite sites, yeah, it's still work in progress.
Yeah.
But the main site's up, the main site's active and running, and on all cylinders, so we're really happy for it.
Anything else? Thanks for having us here. This is like coming home for me. But I appreciate every opportunity I get to speak with you. Sir.
Can you summarize how the Republicans are going to win this next time?
I don't think there's enough time.
I mean,
Yeah.
because you're saying like, let's everyone volunteer, who's going to run and all that.
Right.
Well, that's not going to stop a rhino from getting it. I mean, you got to like, you know, who's vetting these people who
Well,
want to run?
it's vetted with groups like this.
Well, that's what, is it really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
How
is.
is that actually happening?
Well, when there's somebody that they're not comfortable with that's run for office and in office, they will primary them.
How does it get determined if people are comfortable with somebody or not?
That's
up to your individual.
That's up to your. The state party isn't going to do that.
Do the committees themselves talk about candidates?
Ask
and
Pat. You have two chairs here.
Decide we like this person or we don't like this person, or wait, or how about this? These are the most important things, issues that we have facing us today.
Mm-hmm.
Who among all the candidates can best represent that point of view, can present that point of view, thereby giving us the greatest chance to win?
Right.
I don't see that kind of conversation happening anymore.
Have you been to other meetings like this?
I've been to these meetings.
Okay. Have you been to any other meetings?
No.
Okay. So we have another chair here from Kentucky Valley Republican Committee.
Yeah.
Joanne, who actually, this is her facility. And it's not for us to choose the people. Anyone can run. We're not going to stop somebody and say, you can't run for office. And it's not the state party's job to do that. We don't even,
interfere
in the primaries, we don't interfere at all with that stuff. Until they actually select the person who's won a primary, we pretty much try to stay out.
Doesn't the Republican Party need to have a list of major issues that it's going to take to the country?
We do.
We have a platform.
We do. And that's the national committee's function as well. It's not the state's committee function to put through a national, like what you're saying. So those are the people who do it, but it's committees like this that will determine on a state and local level who they want for candidates. Joanne.
Joanne Devine, I'm chair of the Kentucky Valley Republican Committee over in Deering, which takes in about 6-7 towns. One of the things that we try to do, and I know Pat will be doing very shortly, and we're starting tonight, is any candidate that is willing to run and wants to run, we're gonna open them up to our committees so that people can hear where they stand and what their values are. We will give everybody a time and a platform to speak. After the primary, then we will be looking at which candidates we are going to be supporting from different committees, from the committees. Bill O'Brien has, the speaker has been just a phenomenal asset for the Republican Party when he was speaker, and I think we're all supporting him in what he's doing for Congress, running for Congress. But these are things that we will be presenting to each committee member so that they can see who the candidates are and make up your own mind. But people have to get out there and vote and also get involved as well. Go door to door, help once we get into the campaigns, once we get into the primaries. It's going to take people from the different committees to help. The people on Water Street can't do it all. I mean, the Republican Party is going to need all of our committees. Pat's committee, our committee over in Kentucky Valley, and we do support. In 2010, every candidate that we supported from the Kentucky Valley got elected.
Yep.
And we take and do our dues, and we give it to the candidates to help them with trying to buy their literature, get the word out, go door to door. We volunteer, we put up booths at different places. These are the things that we all have to do as from a committee, but we need the help of the committee members.
So let's
as well.
add one more thing to help answer that question for you, because I'm not sure that's exactly the answer, but that's part of it, hopefully. But why don't you tell them about what Mark will
So we also have, the other thing that we're being very aggressive with is we have Mark LaLiberty. I don't know if everyone knows who Mark is. Mark is traveling the state right now, and he is in charge of recruiting, of candidate recruitment for our House seats. Obviously, with so many, it takes a massive effort to do that. So Mark is identifying areas where we need candidates, areas where incumbents are retiring, and identifying what districts those are, and talking to people in the community, talking to committees like this, say, hey, who do we have running to fill Bill O'Brien's seat? Do you have any recommendations for us? Love to talk to them. And so that's how we're kind of vetting candidates by identifying who is interested in running. But ultimately, it's up to those individuals, and it's up to the voters. And there's only so much say that the party can have in that process.
You have a question or a comment?
No, I have a comment. I think what it boils down to is whoever's interested, we give them a place to come and talk to our committee, okay? And the people that want to come to our meetings. So then those people can make an informed decision. But the hard part sometimes is getting those people to come. We give these people all the opportunity in the world to show us who they are and whether or not they're worthy of our vote. But as Republicans, we can't, they can't say, oh, I support Pat over Bart. They can't say that until after the primary. Then they can say, okay, go get him, Bart, or whatever, whoever wins the primary. Until then, we can't show favoritism to any one candidate.
The interesting thing about the Republicans...
Says who?
Well, it's unethical, really,
What's on that?
to show favoritism to one candidate over another.
Why is that?
In the primary,
Wouldn't you want the better candidate?
Of course you would, but you would have to expect that candidate to be able to show their colors well enough to win those people's votes.
it's more of a platform to give people an opportunity to vent the candidates. I mean,
Right, exactly.
Jim Rubens is going to speak. He's running for Senate. Bill O'Brien's going to speak, running for Congress. And I'm certain that Pat will bring anyone in here who is a registered Republican who wants to run for office.
Right.
Anybody always is.
Yeah, so I think that's the key of it, is then the people will vent out whoever the candidate they want to run. We've been through
We'll
this.
be able to tell in our own, you know, do we resonate with Pat or do we resonate with Bart? You know, is he gonna have some really interesting things to say? Is he gonna look crazy up there?
We
You
had
know,
some
you
big-
just don't,
We've had major successes too, because if
Absolutely.
you remember the senatorial run with Andy Sanborn, he was targeted, and it would have been critical if he hadn't gotten in, and we went to thousands of houses, we had a couple $1,000s we gave him,
Right.
and they really targeted him hard,
Yep.
and he won, it was by a narrow margin, Lee County still won,
Yep.
so if you can be effective, there's no doubt, that's
right,
up to what you want to do.
but that was absolutely fine.
So thanks again for your time. You know, we're there if you need us. Call us, email us, whatever. I think you'll find that we will answer the best we can, the best we can. So thanks again.